here, well, let's in general, the conferences, because so much is changing with the conferences. So this one will be fun. A team will win a conference in its first year in its new league. The national champion will not play in a conference title game. I see Ty's eyes getting wide there.
Go Irish. Continue.
At least 2 power conference title games will be rematches of regular season games.
Oh, man.
This may all be true, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Possible they're all true.
All 3 are very possible. I'm really high on Utah winning the Big 12. I think there's a chance we get 3 rematches in conference title games, those being Georgia, Texas in the SEC, Oregon, Ohio State in the Big 10, Utah, Oklahoma State in the Big 12. So just by process of elimination, Andy, the national champion not playing for a conference title game, I think is my answer. I would just like to emphasize this point, though, more to the case that all of these are very possible. If we just use like the NFL as a rough example, the NFL added wild cards to its playoff system back in the 70s. A wild card team has won the Super Bowl 7 times.
Right.
Also, there have been 11 entrants in the Super Bowl from that wild card round of the playoffs. So if we use that as any kind of guide, not winning a thing, but still finding a way into the playoff, you can have a lot of success. I look at that matchup, that 5-12 matchup in the very early part of the playoff, in the first round of the playoff, where it's presumably a group of 5 team against the next best power conference team. I could see that team going on a bit of a run, beating the G5 team, beating the top 4 team in the country, and finding their way into.
Well, remember, number 4 might not be the 4th ranked team in the country. Number 4 could be the 12th ranked team for all we know.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so that's an advantageous spot, depending on who the number 5 seeded team is in this playoff. So again, process of elimination, I'm going to say national champion will not play in a conference championship game is a thing that
and you mentioned seven Super Bowl champions from the wild cards since the 70s. That actually tells you that this probably is the lie. The national champion will not play in a conference title game, because the teams that make the SEC and the Big 10 title games, and that's where most of us are presuming the national champion will come from, they were the best of those very difficult conferences. So the chances of them winning the national title are much better still. So this is but it will be fascinating to watch that all play out, because we don't yet know how any of it's going to play out. Like I said earlier, we still won't have the tiebreakers, which they have to tell us at some point in the next week and a half.
Yeah, and by the way, just with deeper conferences, right? Like you mentioned, like a potential like Oregon, Ohio State, Iowa 3-way menage, whatever at the top, that you can have a really good team not make the conference title game because we just have deeper conferences. And the other wild card here, no pun intended, is injury, right? That you could have, like Will Howard gets injured near the end of the year and they lose something dumb and they don't end up there. But with extra time, right, to get healthy and to figure things out, Ohio State goes 10-2. They don't make the championship game, but he gets healthy and is a difference maker as they win an opening round playoff game and get hot at the right time. It's not exactly baseball, like with the getting hot at the right time. It's, do you have the depth to weather a deeper playoff? But some of those teams, at the top absolutely do, even if they don't play in the conference title game. And get a week off to get healthier, not playing in that conference title game.
Well, and I brought up the Texas A&M 2012 team. Like, that was a team that grew and developed over the course of the year. You didn't want to play them at the end of the year.
Right.
They lost their 2 games at the beginning of the year and, beat the eventual national champ on the road. Nobody would have wanted to see them in the playoff. Like 2007 Georgia, nobody would have wanted to see them in the playoff. So that's where it gets interesting, because you can grow and change over the year as well. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.